In this episode of Instant Noodle Art Tips, I'll show you a technique on how to create more dynamic shapes. The term dynamic refers to the suggestion of movement and energy. Horizontal and vertical lines are typically seen as stable, while diagonal lines are seen as dynamic. Imagine there are a row of houses of even heights. By varying them, you'll notice the diagonals it creates, which leads to more dynamism in the read. The same can be applied to the elements of an individual house itself. We can make them just as interesting if we varied their endpoints. In the following example, we can see that all of the elements, the tower, roof, and chimney, have their top surface and edge ending at the same line. This creates an evenness in height that we can work to break up. Finally, another way you can apply this is by adding small variations to the extrusions on a design or a flat surface to create interest and even indication of scale. Regularly spaced elements create a rhythm, so breaking them up can create more dynamism. In this example, the roof is the same height as the walls of each floor. Within the second floor, the window has spacing above and below it equal to its size. Lastly, the wall of the first floor has windows that have its upper edge and the top edge of the door directly sitting on the halfway mark. Here's one way of varying them. If you look at the two sections of the house, you'll notice that they have even widths. However, we can break this evenness up to make each of them more distinct. You may have heard about the 30-70 or 40-60 rule, or something similar. The rule deals with asymmetrical proportions, and in this case, we can apply it to the ratio of the sections of the house to distinguish their widths from one another. In this final example, you'll notice that the spacing between the pillars are even to the widths of the pillars themselves. When you vary the size of these elements, the wall feels a lot more dynamic. It's important to note that evenness and symmetry have their place in design. It's not necessary to eliminate evenness entirely, as it's impossible to do so. Instead, use these tips as a way to troubleshoot your shape designs if they are ever feeling static or boring. Well, it looks like the noodles are done cooking, so let's dig in. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit subscribe so you can receive updates when the next one is up. If you also found this video to be helpful, share it with someone else that you think can benefit from it as well. Be sure to also use the hashtag InstantNoodleTips so I can see how it has helped you improve your art. Until then, I'll see you on the next Instant Noodle Tips. Stay stretchy.